The Strangers Chapter 1 answers the question, what if we just made the first Strangers, but worse? Hey everyone, my name is Gavin and I love horror. Today we'll be checking out the latest entry in the Strangers franchise, The Strangers Chapter 1. Now this movie is supposed to be the first chapter in a new trilogy of Strangers films, and unfortunately, we are off to a very rough start. But is this movie as bad as people say it is, or does it have some redeeming qualities? Let's get into it. Before we get started, please leave a like for this video and subscribe to the channel. I greatly do appreciate all the support I've been getting. And you know what? It just helps the channel to like it, leave a comment, all that good stuff. So I do appreciate when you do those things. Also, I'll give a spoiler warning, but I mean, if you've seen the first Strangers movie, you've seen this, so spoilers? The Strangers Chapter 1 opens with the characters of Maya and Jeff on a road trip to Portland for a job interview. They make a pit stop in the small town of Venus, Oregon, where they stop to get some lunch at a diner and get judged for being in a 5-year relationship with no ring on it. Like all great horror movies, their car won't start at the diner and they're told, there's no hotels around, but you can stay at an internet house. Yes, they call it an internet house because if you're in a small town, you're not smart enough to know what an Airbnb is. Once they get to the Airbnb, this is when the Strangers of the Strangers Chapter 1 start. And by that I mean they just follow the entire first movie beat for beat, but crappier. This is just The Strangers. It's just The Strangers. They do very little, if anything, that is new. If you've seen The Strangers, you've seen this movie. I don't know what they were trying to accomplish. Who is this movie for? Is it for new fans who might not know who The Strangers are? And they're like, you know what? They don't have time to watch a movie from 2008. Let's instead let them watch a new version of the same movie. I don't understand who this is for. I don't. It's The Strangers, but worse. When The Strangers came out in 2008, it was groundbreaking and terrifying because of just how simple it was as a home invasion movie. It was tense, you were just scared the whole time, it made you afraid to go home, it made you lock all of your doors. That's how effective The Strangers was. It was so good, it was terrifying. It has so many iconic scenes, and that line of, because you were home, is one of the scariest lines ever uttered in a horror movie. Even 2018's The Strangers Prey at Night, while not as highly regarded as the original film, is still a really fun slasher movie that at least tried to push the series forward. It tried to push the series forward, which I appreciate. Also, that pool scene is an all-timer. It's a great scene, uses a great song, and the entire cast of The Strangers Prey at Night were very nice when we met them last summer. And yeah, The Strangers Prey at Night wasn't that loved by the community, but it has Halloween Kills syndrome. Halloween Kills syndrome is that, well, you didn't like Halloween Kills when it came out, but then Halloween Ends came out and you're like, oh no, perhaps we judged you too harshly, Halloween Kills. So yes, Chapter 1 makes Prey at Night look like a damn masterpiece. But Chapter 1 is just beat for beat the first movie. You've got the creepy knock at the door, you've got the loud noises as a distraction, you even have two characters going through relationship squabbles. You had to bring everything over from the first movie, including the squabbles? Why must they squabble? But hey, any scene you loved in the first Strangers is back, baby. But shittier. Like, remember how creepy it was when the girl knocked on the door and says, is Tamra home? And you could see her silhouette and you could see like it was a girl. Well, it's back this time, but now she's wearing like a sock cap, so she looks just like a silhouette of a gray alien. Yeah, love that change. Remember how cool it was when James accidentally shot his friend Dennis from Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and he was really tore up because he shot his friend? Well, that scene is also back, but this time he shoots a random refrigerator repairman. The stakes have never been higher. And remember that iconic shot of the man in the mask standing in the kitchen while Liv Tyler smokes a cigarette? He's just in the background, stalking, watching. It was so unsettling and so creepy. Well, that scene is back again, but this time it involves a mirror above a piano and the man in the mask sitting in a rocking chair. Like, she's gonna be able to see you and hear you if you're hanging out behind her, creaking like you're at a Cracker Barrel. And you get a fun subplot about Jeff constantly needing his inhaler, and as an asthmatic, I love asthmatic representation, but maybe don't treat every asthma attack like it's just a panic attack or an anxiety attack. They are very different, and I would know I have both. Also, one of the most bizarre choices this movie makes is how close up everything is kind of shot. Everything's shot a little too close up. There's a scene when Jeff comes back after Maya gets scared by the strangers attacking. There's a scene where it is shot so close up, it made me uncomfortable. Like right now, look how close I am on my face. Are you upset? Are you uncomfortable? Because I am. I kept waiting for there to be like a jump scare in his pupil or something, but no, it's just like, we gotta show this handsome man's face real close. Like, we are in his pores. We are in his pores. Zoom out. Zoom out. For me, I think the worst part of The Strangers Chapter 1 is just how boring it is. It's a very boring movie because we know everything that's gonna happen because we saw the original film. You know, like all that tenseness, all the anxiety you would feel during the original is gone because you're like, he's gonna be standing behind her, they're gonna do a couple of attacks, and then they're probably gonna get captured at the end, be tied to chairs, and because you were here will be said, and that'll be it. So if you know what's gonna happen, all of the tenseness, it's gone. And there is no real tenseness to this movie because it's a movie we've already seen. And I don't want to sound redundant, and I don't want to sound repetitive, but if the movie is fine being redundant and repetitive, why should I be any different? And it's not like they couldn't just do a remake or a reboot while still honoring the original while doing new things. Like, there are tons of remakes that honor the original source material and still bring something new to the table. Like, look at the Friday the 13th remake or 2003 Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Those are all great remakes that help build upon what came before, not just make the same movie again. I guess one positive that I did enjoy is that I still very much love the idea of The Strangers. I love it as a concept, and I wish that the movies that came out were better. Even though I think, honestly, they could have just made the first movie and left it at that, because that's a very scary movie. It's a classic. You don't need to make a sequel, but because Hollywood has to sequelify everything, then everything needs a sequel. But I do love the idea of The Strangers, and I love the look of The Strangers. I love that it's one guy and two girls. Get it, dog? This time out, the man in the mask, he's a thick boy. Thick. Look how thick he is out here. And I do like the look of Pinup and Baby Doll, even if they do kind of just look like baristas who went on break. But you know what? Baristas on break, it fits because Oregon. I guess I just wanted something a little bit different than what he had seen before. It shouldn't be that hard to not copy a movie when there's only two before. Just don't copy two movies. It's not like Friday the 13th where they're like, well, there's 12 of these things. Like, how can we do something new after 12 movies? You only have two you gotta avoid. As long as you don't do like a pool scene or something, you should be fine. I don't know, man. Strangers Chapter 1 just did not hit well for me at all. I know they're making Chapter 2 and 3. They're already shot, so that's good. Maybe this is a movie they had to make to get to like the fun stuff, the new stuff for Chapters 2 and 3. Maybe the town is in on it. Maybe we'll find out who the strangers are. Maybe it's all connected somehow. But then there's a mid-credit scene that in Chapter 1 where I was like, I don't know if they know what they're doing. But luckily, all the movies are shot, so we don't have to worry about nothing being a follow-up. But I would be hard-pressed and surprised if these next two movies don't go straight to streaming. I would be surprised. These very much feel like streaming movies, or based on some of the acting, CW shows. Overall, I was just incredibly disappointed by the lack of innovation in The Strangers Chapter 1. And while I don't need to know everything about The Strangers, like I don't want a huge origin story or something like that, I would like to know maybe a little bit more about their motivations or something just to bring something new to the table. But this movie was fine, like I said, just playing the hits and not doing anything new. This is definitely going to be on a lot of people's worst horror movie lists of 2024. For me, this movie is probably second only to Night Swim. And you don't want to be in the same category as Night Swim. Because Night Swim, I mean, it's Night Swim, so what did you expect? But overall, I did not really enjoy this movie. I wanted just something more, and this movie let me down in pretty much every category, aside from the look of the strangers still being like, they look pretty cool. I like The Strangers, which is why I'm giving The Strangers Chapter 1 a Chapter 1.5 out of 5. But what did you think? Did you enjoy The Strangers Chapter 1? Or were you like me and like, nah, this is not it, dog. Like, maybe we should stop making these until we can do something new. Let me know in the comments below. Let me know who your favorite stranger is, of course. And also, if you want to check out a video where me and Brent, my good friend on our podcast, are coming to get you, went to check out the actual location from Pray at Night, you can watch that video up here. So do that, and then as always, leave a like, leave a comment, and subscribe. Until next time, stay weird.